It's awesome. It's this cool tool where you can go on, see what open source projects people are using. You can compare the projects and so forth. I called up Yonas and said, we're doing this thing. We can't figure out what everybody's using. Can you help us out? And Yonas was kind enough to help us. Please welcome to the stage Yonas from StackShare.io.
All right. I'm going to, well, first of all, honored to be, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm going to make this very, very brief, and I've got some very simple slides here. Let's start.
Gotta hit it hard. There you
go. So for those that aren't familiar, StackShare, our mission is to make developers more productive by helping them learn about technology through the people and companies they trust. So the problem is there's hundreds of thousands of tools out there, right? There's open source, self-hosted, cloud, SaaS, PaaS, the list goes on, right? Very difficult to choose which technologies you should use. We're solving that by allowing developers and companies to publicly share which tools they're using in the tech stack. And as all of us in this room know, the modern tech stack is actually dominated by open source technologies, right? So more often than not, you're using open source whether you know it or not. And so when Jim called me up and said, hey, I've got this thing that I think you guys can help with, I immediately said yes. Not only because of the fact that it's Linux Foundation and the work they do is important, but because this specific initiative, Community Bridge, is actually a very holistic approach, and it's not sort of this Band-Aid one-off solution, right? Being able to sustainably fund security patches while increasing the diversity within the open source world is actually an amazing way to help the entire ecosystem. And in StackShare, we're honored actually to be a small part of the solution here. So why are we here? So the purpose of StackShare, the reason we exist is because when you're going to adopt a tool, particularly open source, one of the main questions you have to ask is, well, who else is using it, right? And right now, it's kind of a difficult question to answer. A lot of projects don't tell you who's using the software, right? Which companies and who else is using it. Some bigger projects do, and that have the resources. So this is where StackShare comes in. We've actually built the world's most comprehensive sort of like open source and SaaS usage database that's crowdsourced. Again, this is all public data, and we've brought it all together in one platform. And the reason that this is important is because when you're funding a project, this is actually one of the things you want to know. So what you'll see here, actually, starting today, we've released a sort of new aspect of the platform. You can not only see what companies like Uber are using, but you can actually see why they chose specific tools in their stack, particularly open source tools. So here you'll see Connor, who may be in the audience from Uber, actually talking about Jaeger and why they decided to build it and open source it under CNCF. And so all this data is now available through a brand new GraphQL API endpoint, a set of endpoints that we opened up specifically for Linux that gives you access to all this information. And when you're browsing profiles on Community Bridge, you can actually see who's using these projects. And we see this as the beginning of much deeper integration and larger partnership. But again, we're really happy to be able to help out here. And thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're almost over the home stretch. Last but not least, Iso Khan. He is the CEO.